Right. You only get one wish. I wish I didn't have to pay any more bills. Did it work? Hold on. Sorry, guys. Hello, Mr. Sterling. We regret to inform you that we are repossessing your car due to missed payments. And now I'm uninsured. And now my phone's not working. Great. Anyway, hello and welcome to our live stream review of the feature-length debut from Curry Barker, Obsession. You know who we all are, you know the routine, and expectations, unmute yourselves, freeform.
Let's let Jay go first since he's not here a lot. Jay, you go first.
Hello everyone. It's been a while since I've been back here.
Beforehand, I just want to give we at the Cool Kids want to give Jay a huge congratulations because he just graduated college.
Yay. And I'm so tired. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I've had a very busy 72 hours, but let's cut to the meat and potatoes. When it comes to the expectations, I didn't even really know that this movie existed until Devin shared the trailer in the group chat, and I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, this looks pretty interesting. This looks pretty scary. And one of the actors or actresses in the film I recognized already from Indy Navarrete. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I recognized her from the show Superman and Lois, which I put John onto, and we both watched that show, and that's pretty much when we both got introduced to the actress as a whole. And I knew that this movie looked interesting. I thought the premise was like very simple. It was basically a classic tale of be careful of what you wish for, and it basically takes it to a very dramatic turn. And I definitely was. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I mean, I'd give it a watch, and I gave it. I mean, yeah, it was pretty. That really was my expectations. I didn't think like, oh my god, this is like gonna be like the best movie of the year, but I thought it would be pretty solid.
I mean, I thought when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh shit, this horror movie looks really fucking good. The premise looks really good. It has yet another horror. It has yet another comedian turned horror filmmaker, much like Jordan Peele, and it has another YouTuber turned horror director, much like Markiplier and Chris Stuckman and Chris Collins and
Raka.
Raka, the guys who did Skinamarink. Sorry, Devin. And then so it's just like a constant like YouTube turn horror directors. Whether the movies are good depends. I mean, most of us liked Iron Lung. Again, sorry, Devin. He said Skinamarink is like probably one of the worst movies he's ever seen. Sorry.
No, it's not one of it. No, it's not one of it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if like Beau is Afraid was worse for you or Fanatic was worse for you than that. But yes, okay. So, it hit and miss, but I was open to the idea. It seemed like Curry Barker knew what he was doing. And I think so far this year, I mean, we have Backrooms later this month, which is by Kane Parsons, who just finished post-production as fucking 20-year-old who started the whole lore behind the Backrooms when he was like fucking 6 years ago. So, that's definitely cool. A lot of YouTube filmmakers coming into the limelight. But yeah, this looked good from the get go. I knew Curry Barker, like I know Curry Barker from his sketch comedy with Cooper Tomlinson, who is also in the movie as in the film as Ian. So yeah, I thought this looked really really good. I wasn't sure how like if it was gonna have like comedy attributes or not. Like, you know, there is like some comedy in like something like Get Out, like mainly with Lorray Howard's character, where he's like, I'm in the motherfucking TSA. So, you know, I wasn't sure how it would go there, but I'm like, this looks really good. Like, it's got a good cast. I know one actress, as Jay already mentioned, but it again, The Monkey's Paw. That's a classic story, classic, you know, urban legend story where it's like you wish for something, you get the good, but you also get the bad. Much like, you know, like a devil's deal as well, like a crossroad deal. You know, that's been a like a folklore urban legend kind of thing for, you know, centuries. So it's interesting how he does it with his own lore, with his own ideas, but obviously we'll get into that. But yeah, this looked good. I was a little worried it wasn't going to deliver on the premise, and I'll talk about that. Luckily it worked, but yeah, I thought this looked good. I'm like, I was super excited for this. Great year for horror, and yeah, he definitely delivered. So
I would say when I first heard about this movie, I never heard of Curry Barker. I didn't know who he was. I first found out about this movie because one of my favorite YouTube critics is Cody Leach, and he saw this movie at South by Southwest, and he was praising the fuck out of it, and it immediately like put it on my radar. Like, check this out. As soon as like I need to check this out. I watched the trailers. I was constantly hyping it up for these guys. Probably a little too much, but you know, for that, I don't apologize. And I even had the opportunity to go to an early screener that was about like 40 minutes away from me. Like, I was just counting down the days. Like, I can't wait to see this movie. I need to fucking see this movie. And what did I think? We'll get to that shortly. But as you can see, like there is three of us. I do have some voiceovers from Rob. He sent his expectations and his positives and his verdict. But Zach's I'll play Zach's later because he sent like when we do the verdict because he sent like a whole because he sent like his whole overall thoughts because he didn't have time to do the parts. So here is Rob's expectations.
Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know that sorry I wasn't able to be there for the stream for Obsession. I'm out of town
Just double check. You guys can hear it, right?
yep.
Okay, cool.
right now. I went to a music festival with my mom and my brother just outside of Winston-Salem, you know. I just wanted to get my quick thoughts on this movie because I saw it last night, so I wanted to share my thoughts on it. I'm going to do something similar to what I did with Hoppers and just record my thoughts through each part. So for my expectations of Curry Barker, I honestly was not really sure what to think because I'm not really familiar with Curry Barker. As a director, remember, I know this is his second movie. And I haven't seen Milk and Cereal, so just know that I'm not a massive horror fanatic like half the guys here. So, and honestly, the main reason why I watched it was because of the asshole that's pretty much holding the phone in his hand, playing these messages. Yeah, you know who you are. But then, to be fair, I was guilty of that. But I digress. I pretty much watched it. I was kind of curious. Everyone was talking about it. So I kind of got my curious a little bit. So yeah, those were my expectations. And I saw it last night. I went to a almost 10 o'clock showing. So I came in a little bit late and What do I think of it? Well, you'll have to wait and see.
Oh, that's another thing I do. I do want to mention. I did watch Milk and Cereal, which was an hour-long movie that Curry Barker did on YouTube. Fucking creepy. Highly recommend it. But now,
Who wants to go first?
no.
Oh, all right. I'll go.
I mean, you can give your positives first. I gotta close my door.
Oh, okay. So as far as the positives, I would say that from the opening scene, I like how we already get a sense of who Bear is as a person. Like he clearly is, an awkward, shy, not really, the most outward, like expressive about his feelings, and he clearly, likes Nikki and wants to, be with her. And we kind of get, a sense of, how the relationship, formed. He moved from one town to the next, and Nikki was like, a person that really, made him feel, I guess, seen in a way. And, we kind of get a sense of who he is. I mean, we don't really get a, what his home, we don't really, see if he, if he has like family or if he talks to, if he has a sister or anything. He lives by himself. So, and, we see that he's kind of a, you're nice guy type of person. But other than that, I mean, also, the performances were great. Obviously, the best performance in the movie was Indy Navarrete. She was amazing. I really thought that she played, she did a really good job of playing a character who is not all the way there, and also, playing a character who is like, whose mind is like fractured. The real Nikki is not in control, and when she is in control, it's for like a brief couple of seconds. And freaky Nikki is just a complete and total nightmare. And the way that she plays, like, plays both characters is just amazing, or both sides to that character is amazing. And she really does like make you like tense, because every single time she's on screen after the One Wish Willow is taking effect, because you don't know if this is going to be the moment where she snaps, or if this is gonna, if she's gonna, keep it cool, because she's, out in public with other people. But it really is tense every single time. And I would say that another positive that I like is the fact that this movie does not, shy away from telling you that Nikki is the victim. I think that it's very clear that Nikki is the victim. Bear kind of is, I guess you could say that he is a victim himself, but it's because of his own doing. He's not a victim. He's not like an innocent victim where like, oh, this is happening to him undeservingly. No, he did this to himself. He had multiple chances to correct his wrong or right his wrong, and he didn't do it because he saw that because he got the girl of his dreams, and he wanted to keep her no matter if, even though like this was done against her will. And and I think the biggest scene that stood out to me the most, and it really is tragic, is the fact that after the dinner scene, it cuts to them having sex, and you can see that Nikki, she's reacting to what's happening, but you can see in her eyes like they're dead. Like she does not look like she's there. It's like, it's like in A Quiet Place, like you're watching yourself do all these things, but you're not in control of your own body or your own thoughts or your own like words and everything. And I said this to Devin like before we started the stream, like it kind of reminded me of Wonder Woman 84, with like what happened with Diana and Steve. It's basically, I mean, but like that was never done in a way that they never even talked about that in that movie. They just kind of played it off as like, oh yeah, this is normal. But no, in this movie, it shows you that this is not a good thing. And I won't flat out say that, Bear, like, I'm not going to say the word, but
you can say rapist. That's fine.
Oh,
he basically rapes Nikki.
Yeah, he basically did, because after the fact that he realized, oh, the One Wish Willow thing worked, he basically is taking advantage of that situation, and he like that's where the morality of Bear and like the feeling sorry for him, that goes out the window because he's basically enabling this. And even when he's talking to his friends about Nikki's behavior, he's making it seem like, oh, this is normal. Oh, it's normal. Like she's like, why are you like, asking me about this wooty wooty woo? And towards the end, I mean, I am glad. I'm glad that the movie doesn't. Towards the end, it doesn't make you. He's not really. He kind of he suffers the consequences. It's not like he doesn't really go through any like form of like change. He kind of does. He decides to do the right thing, but only after everything gets fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, for me, I have no negatives for this movie whatsoever. I thought this whole movie to me was just perfect. I don't think this movie would have been as effective if you didn't have great direction and you had great performances from your two leads. Like Michael Johnson, he's fantastic as Bear, and weird thing to bring up, but am I the only one that thinks he kind of looks like Dave Franco?
You're not. You're
I
not
don't really
wrong.
see it. Sorry.
Honestly, it's more. I feel like he looks more like Dave Franco now than he does like back then. Because Dave Franco, I mean, obviously, Dave Franco he visibly looks older. So, but I think
the good Franco.
Yeah, which by the way, James Franco apparently is going to be in he's going to be in the Rocky prequel or something, or some prequel movie that
Rambo.
Rambo. He's going to be in the Rambo prequel, which is like, oh, okay.
Sweet. But I thought Michael Johnson, he was fantastic as Bear. Like he nailed like the shy, nice guy. Where I love how at first like you sympathize with him, like you get where he's coming from. Like we've all had times where we had a crush on someone and we were too scared to say our true feelings because we didn't want to have to deal with the rejection.
Yep.
Well, we could relate to him at first, but then once the wish is once he makes the wish and Nikki starts to become possessed by the Willow, we start to see like the darker side of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jay and like the three of us, we were talking about it backstage, like the part where Nikki's in her sleep and she's begging for Bear to kill her. And then he says, what's so bad about being with me? And then she says, I was never with you. And then he just walks away.
That was like, I understand like the rape scene was probably the biggest turn for some people.
Yeah.
But for me, that was, he didn't really know, like, I'm not excusing that fact. Like, obviously it's rape. It's 100% bad. But like, even then, like he was unsure that this was the one wish Willow and she was quote unquote reacting and all that stuff. So, there was that was like the turn for the audience. Like, oh yeah, this is a bad guy. But then when it's told to him that directly, like, I'm not with you, it's this fucking person that is in my body that is reacting to doing this stuff. And then he says, like, okay, and then he's like, oh, I was never with you. And then he leaves, and then he doesn't take her out of her misery. That's when it's like 100% within the context of the movie, within the context of all these characters, you are 100% the villain of this story. So that was essentially like that. The rape scene was, yes, very bad to us. It's like, okay, yeah, you're not a good person. But that to him, it's being told like, yeah, you're not in a relationship with Nikki ever. You never were. Yeah, but so you're told, yeah, this is not you. So,
but I would say though, like, because that's the thing, throughout the end, like, I've seen on Twitter and YouTube, it's like people have kind of debated on when Bear like figured it out, and it's like the way that, at least from my interpretation of the scene, when he's on the phone with Ian and like it cuts to like, you know, the flash, like it flashes to like all these scenes that basically happened prior. It's like we clearly, I mean, Bear's not an idiot. I feel like I think it's like it's like you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, it's like it's no coincidence that as soon as that happened, now all of a sudden she's like all over him and everything, and can't seem to like get away from him. And it's like, yeah, we saw a montage, they were on a honeymoon phase, so it's like that during that, it's like, okay, you know what, he definitely wasn't like aware, or he probably didn't put two and two together. But that dinner scene, I feel like that really was the like the turning point where he really was like, oh shit, this wish worked, because he asked her verbatim what he basically wished for. He's like, do you love me like more than anyone in the world, which is basically what he said verbatim. Like, I wish Nikki like loved me more than anyone in the world. And after that point, I feel like that for me is where, yeah, he becomes irredeemable, because he clearly figured it out that the wish was not true, and that Nikki was making up all these elaborate excuses to basically get closer to Bear, with lying about her dad having cancer to basically make her actions seem less like questionable, and why she's like basically from his perspective, like, why is she like now acting like so weird.
And speaking of which, like we're going back to what I was saying about like the acting is like Andy Navarrete, clearly the fucking star here. This is the first thing I've ever seen her in. I've never watched Superman and Lois. Fucking perfect performance. I know Joey was saying that he wants her to get an Oscar nomination. I would love to see that too, because I mean, if Amy Madigan can get nominated and win for Weapons, I think there's potential for this too.
You know that's not going to happen though, because if that was the case, then the Oscars, like, I feel like with Weapons, that was like a special case, because Weapons was like this mass movement. But when it comes to like these type of films, like these small indie films where we have like great performances, they will never give an actor or an actress an Oscar for a genuine horror film. Like, because if that was the case, then why did the actress, I don't know her name, but how come the actress for Talk to Me didn't get anything? How come she didn't get an Oscar nomination? And she acted the hell out of that film. So yeah, the Oscars, they don't care about horror films. They will care about horror films if it's like a big budget mass movement kind of thing, because they care about like it's which they just care about the movies that are big for like publicity, like things in pop culture. Because even though I think Indy Navarrete definitely deserves like recognition, because again, we went from seeing her in a CW show, and I said that lightly because it was it was an HBO Max produced show, but we saw her from that to this. Like, what?
Like, I love how like she nails both the like the cutesy like love bombs, the love bombing side, the normal like chill nice girl side, and then absolutely nails like the psychotic stalker like perfectly, like that fucking.
She makes it look easy.
Exactly, like her fucking smile alone it's beautiful yet terrifying at the same time.
It's kind of like Mia Goth at the end of Pearl. Like, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that. So yeah, it's just, it shows that like you don't really know like what actors can do unless they have the right material, kind of thing. So, and I think Indy Navarrete finally got the right. Not saying again, Superman and Lois was bad. I mean, her character was poorly written on that show, and she can only do so much. But it shows that like Curry Barker, this dude has 110% a future ahead of him in horror. And
how old is he?
I think what?
He's my age.
Yeah,
I think he's younger than me.
I think he might be 25, 26. I don't know yet. But
Yeah, I'm 27.
so I think Indy Navarrete did an amazing job. Like it's kind of like, again, it feels like that kind of Annie Wilkes, Hannibal Lecter, where they do two sides very well. Not saying that it's as good as those performances. It's a great performance, but like those are like come on, like But I think Jay, I know you haven't seen this, but Devin, I don't remember if you answered this or not. Have you ever seen Play Misty for Me?
No, never heard
First
of it.
off, highly recommend. That was the original Fatal Attraction, essentially. I think that was Clint Eastwood's first movie. I think that was his directorial debut, if I remember correctly. But Jessica Walters is essentially the woman in that movie.
It is. by the way,
And
it is.
she like, because the thing about like Fatal Attraction's like the easy go-to, because like that's the one that people remember, because like, you know, Glenn Close, it wasn't an indie film, it had like a studio behind it. It started a whole like the From Hell like subgenre during the late 80s and early 90s. So it so that's usually the one that gets remembered. But Play Misty for Me, the thing that I find interesting that I noticed that Indy Navarrete kind of played into more like with Jessica Walters is that Jessica Walters in that movie was, when she was quote unquote in love with Clint Eastwood's character, she was so fucking innately pathetic, like just so desperate. And that's what Indy Navarrete does. She does like this very like pathetic puppy dog, I literally have no reason to exist except to be your lover type thing. So I think she does that really well, but then at this drop of hat, she could do like this mind bending, psychological, psychopath, sociopath kind of vibe. And like she does it like so easily. And then it also like the fucking weird movements. Like
Oh my God.
especially those fucking weird ass, because like clearly they're like demonic. It was the one wish will like literally like later on in the movie, like she goes in reverse and I'm like, Britch, how the fuck does that happen? Like
Yeah.
so I was like, I was enamored. But the thing is, but I do feel kind of bad for the rest of the actors, 'cause the rest of the actors do a phenomenal job. It's just Indy
Yeah.
Navarrete stole the show. Michael Johnston was great. Again, he was the next best person, like, because I mean, it was the two of them. That was like the movie. But Cooper Tomlinson did a really good job. I don't know who was Sarah, but she did a very good job. Like again, these
Megan Lawless.
Megan Lawless, and the fucking Andy Richter was there for some reason. Like, oh hi, Andy Richter, where's Conan? But so I
And
thought
Curry
that was
Barker
kind of
was
funny.
Curry Barker was the customer
The
service
guy on the
representative.
phone, you know, doing his directorial cameo.
Mhm.
But I think like they all did a good job. And what was so good about this movie, something I noticed, that's something I'm really like remembering now, is like it felt real. Like it felt like a reactive, like what you would really do in this situation. Like you kind of have like, you have people talking over each other, you have like people assessing the situation like in different ways. Like they felt distinct. Like it was mainly these four characters. Yeah, sure, you had other characters in there, like you had like, you know, Ian's friends, you had like you had the like Mystic Shop people, but it was like mainly these four characters, how the drama revolves around these four characters. And it just feels very real. Like it felt like real people having real conversations of trying to figure this out. And I really liked that from the acting, most definitely. And Devin, I think you mentioned this already, but I like how it's not explained, because when
Yeah,
things are explained, that's not good.
it
You
makes it
know,
less
like, hey,
scary.
Michael Myers is the pawn of a cult. Yeah, that's totally scary.
I think that another thing that
No! No!
oh what
He was reacting to me. Sorry, continue,
oh
Jay.
I think another like thing to take away from this film is like before like he even uses the Wish Willow, it's like obviously, you know, we know that he likes her, like he likes Nikki, but and we're only really given, and it's kind of unfortunate we're only given like such like small amounts of like scenes between in a normal setting between Nikki and Bear before like he uses the one Wish Willow. And but it's clear that, I mean, they clearly have a friendship. Like, she does, like, view him as, like, one of her closest, like, friends. And, you know, there was a moment where Nikki was asked him straight up, like, do you like
You like
me?
me.
Like, if you have something to say, like, now is the time. Like, and I feel like in that moment, it's like, okay, like, she clearly is, like, wondering, because, I mean, it's kind of obvious that he clearly likes her. I don't know if it's like, if it's like like this open secret, but yeah, if she was like bold enough to ask him that, I mean, maybe there was a mutual interest between, Nikki and
I've been
Bear,
going
but
back
we'll
and
never
forth
know.
about that. Like, did she have an interest or did she not? Because when she says that, she's like, okay, fine, good, that's great, and then leaves. But it could also be derived of like, okay, and like kind of like stepping back where it's like, okay, fine, he doesn't like me. But she seems visibly upset. Like she wanted
Yeah.
him to say yes. That's
Exactly.
my takeaway. I don't know if anybody else had a different takeaway here, but that
No,
was the
that's what I
takeaway
got.
I had.
But then Bear's on the phone with Ian, and then he says she sees you as more like a little brother. And then he finds out from Sarah that Ian and Nikki have been like hooking up on and off for a couple of years.
Yeah. So like maybe it was like well I mean to be fair like she and they do mention this in the movie like that was from a long time ago, things maybe changed, maybe there was something that happened between Ian and Nikki and she wanted like an actual relationship instead of like friends with benefits. We don't know, and obviously we never find that out, but like it's entirely possible. Like again, these are like kind of the questions you ask, and this is what the stuff we think about, but it's like you're asking questions. It's in your mind. It invades your mind because you want to talk about it. You want to analyze all the different things. At the end, it doesn't really matter because it's just like, what happens in the end happens in the end. And so, but it's intriguing. Like, okay, how was this relationship as it was? And what was it going to be if, fucking Bear just stopped being a fucking pussy and just, said something? But, you know, but I liked it. I liked all those like the atmosphere is so good.
Mm. The
Effective
way
jump scares.
absolutely the jump scares here actually worked, unlike a shitty PG-13 Blumhouse movie or overrated trash like Smile. The jump scares are actually effective.
I mean, there were a
And I
couple that were like not great, but like not everything is going to be a winner, and that's fine. But like most of them were like it reminded me of Sinister. Ironic because Zach mentioned that like he compared it to Sinister as well. Um, how he was like, yeah, it definitely because that was a movie there where it's like the stuff was effective, like it was effective jump scares because that's it like fed into the horror of it. It wasn't just like like it wasn't like a thing jumps out and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
or
it
like
was just a
bumping
cat.
into
Like,
or like you back up and like, oh, hi there.
yeah. Does nobody
Yeah.
say hi? Like, to quote James Rolfe. But yeah, I really liked that. The atmosphere was so good. It's just like I love how fucking slow it was. Like not just as a movie, but yes, as a movie, it was slow, good and effective. But I love how like some scenes go on and on for so long that it becomes like torturous, but in a good way. For instance, the car scene where he brings her there, they have the conversation, he breaks the One Wish Willow, fucking not Sarah, Nikki goes bonkers. And it's just it's on and on, but it's just like, oh my god, like it's just like it's the start of like this insanity, and you're like so intrigued with how this is gonna go, and it feels, and that's the thing that's really interesting about this movie. Yeah, you can go with over the top stuff, and it does go into that, which I don't mind. But what I like about this movie is that the scariness doesn't come from being scary, and it is scary, but it's like for like majority of the movie it's just you're so uncomfortable. Like it's
Yeah.
like something isn't right, which honestly is more scary than just like, I'm gonna rip your guts out and blah. Which don't get me wrong, I love that too. I love a good gory shit fest. You know,
Oh, I do
I mean,
too.
Reanimator is one of my favorite horror movies, but
I love Toxic Avenger.
so but I like it's just like again, that's kind of going back to what I was saying about how it feels real. Like it feels like a real situation. Like you have this little monkey's paw thing, this little magical little thing, but for the rest of it, it feels real. And then it's just like the uncomfort, like you know how like your toxic, you know, significant other is like losing their mind in a public place. It's like that's uncomfortable. Or it's like people are like accusing you of taking advantage of a situation. That's also uncomfortable, especially well in this case he is, but like in more often than not you're a good person, but it's like on the outside it looks like you are not treating this person properly, and it's like that's uncomfortable. It's just like so much of this is uncomfort, and that's it feels more real and it feels more scary, and I really really liked that. I think that's one of the best things about the movie is just the like it's like despite the fact it on a surface level it's like it's not scary, but then it because it's not scary and not trying to be scary, it ends up being scary, and you know it just like fucking works. It like
Yeah, this movie was
God, I
scary
would
as
suck Curry Barker's dick. God damn, that dude, he is a fucking genius. Like this guy's gonna be the next like he's gonna be the next Mike Flanagan, Robert Eggers, Oz Perkins. Like this dude 110% has a future. Like if this dude like really like resurrects fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the ashes, he is
Oh my
going to literally be a
God.
miracle worker. So, but look,
Yo,
you know that's later on. But damn, like this, holy shit, fuck.
can I just like go like back to Indy because I'm
Yeah,
on
no,
Twitter right
you're
now.
good.
Just like
This is
looking.
free form. Talk whatever
Oh
about
no
whatever you
no
want.
that's freeform.
yeah. I was like I'm looking at like yeah, her performance was so fucking good. Like it really, yeah, like you said, it's just the uncomfortable, like being uncomfortable. Like like I saw the gif of her like smiling with blood on her face, like and I'm just like, dude, that's fucking sinister. Or her like in the door, like or like when she's like in the doorway, but you can't like see her face clear, like her face is in like the dark when she's like saying like, oh, I know you like me, yada yada. It's just like, dude, like she's freaking possessed, and it really
Yeah.
is just like it's so like, and towards like the end of the movie, like when the wish is like done and everything, I just felt so bad for her. Like she like none of this is her fault. Like she wasn't in
Well,
control of her body.
we'll
And
get to the end. We'll get to the ending later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, don't get into the ending yet. I do love something I do appreciate about the movie is I love Curry Barker's direction. And I love how like he shoots his scenes. Like I love how he utilizes like the background shots and the lighting. Like you could see like Ian and Barrett just having a conversation, and the whole fucking time Nikki is staring at him. Like the whole goddamn time they're talking. Or the part where she's watching him sleep and she's just hiding in the dark. You can barely see her face.
Yeah.
And like you don't know where she leaves. You don't know where the fuck she is. She comes back out of nowhere and she's hiding behind a fucking like hiding behind a plant for some reason.
Yeah. It's
I-
just
I-
yeah.
I saw a comment about like because I was watching like a bunch of like different reviews, like trying to like see like everyone's like perspective, and I saw this comment on Moist Critical's video, and it actually and it made me feel vindicated because I was like, dude, like that's exactly what I was doing. And I talked to Devin about this, but John, I wanted to ask you throughout after the once like Nikki like is under the spell and everything, and she's like basically acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Did you ever like pay attention to the background, like
Oh, yeah, all
whenever
the
like
time. All
like
the time.
whenever Bear was in a scene, like did you ever like look in the background to see
Yep.
if like he was being watched? Because that's what I was doing. Like
Yep.
like one scene was when Ian was asking Bear to give him a ride home, and there's a window in the background. I was thinking, oh, it's like because that's I think that's the same. That was because that was the same shift that he worked when him and Sarah were having a moment. And I'm thinking, oh, like is Nikki secretly like watching him or something? Like, is he
And
like?
that's,
Well, that's the
where
thing.
the unease comes from, because like that's like a big fear of mine, is like someone just staring at you beyond the darkness and you can't do anything about it. Like that's
Well,
scary
the part,
as fuck.
that was when Bear left for work and Nikki was just standing at the door. That was one of the parts that fucking scared me.
Nah,
Was
because like
standing
it
there
kept
frozen with that
going.
fucking smile on her face, and then he comes
Yeah.
back and she's still in that same spot.
Yeah, and you could, and like when she leaves, like her eye twitches like a little bit, like I don't want to do this, but I have to because I'm in this situation. So
Yeah,
that
like,
was really good. Not
like,
saying
the
it was
scene
good,
like
but like
lingered and everything. Like it let the scene linger to show you like how like uneasy this is. Like she
Yeah.
is like literally,
that's what-
and
like-
with like and with Sarah like too, like the way that it's shot, like it's like there was so like she's like her entire body's in one corner, like she's not even in the center of the shot, and the window is like a main like
Yep.
thing in the background, and you're just it's like you're waiting. It's like like you're waiting for like
Yeah, I
something
mean,
to
I was saying
happen.
this when you were gone to Devin, just like that's what it makes this again so scary, is the unpredictability of Navarrette's performance. Is like you don't know when she is gonna be cutesy and just kind of pathetic lover or like batshit insane. Like you don't know. And that was another big scene where it's like the two of them are in the car and it's just like you're just fucking waiting. You know something's gonna happen. And even though you can smell like what is gonna happen from a mile away, it's just like the inevitability of like it's gonna happen. You just like it reminds me. There's a lot of I feel like for most modern filmmakers, they go back to The Thing. The Thing, I think there was a bunch of influence of that movie in here, because like the scene where they're in the car where it's him and Sarah, and it's like, um after she's like, I was never with you, and he leaves to go with Sarah because they want to talk. It definitely feels like the blood test scene where it's like something's gonna fucking happen, but you just don't know when. But the inevitability, even though like in a normal horror movie where maybe it's not as like stated, it's you know it's just like, oh, okay, let's just get this over with. Let's just get it over with. We know it's coming. But what this does is like it's coming, but you're like you're just waiting, and it's just like the buildup of it. It's not just like, oh, let's get this over with. Just the fact that Curry has trust in his audience and we have trust in Curry Barker, that like, okay, I can do this for as long as I need, and we can go as far as we need to, and then I can get the audience to come back with that death scene. So it just magic. It just works perfectly, and this movie is so precisely edited. Like this, you could tell this. It's a guy that's been working in YouTube and editing. Like I would say, bro, Markiplier, if you're watching this, I know you aren't, but if you are, hire Curry Barker to edit your stuff, because when you were editing it, it did not work. But when Curry, like, you could tell, like, this, because again, it comes down to comedic timing. Markiplier, the difference between, and this is coming from someone who really liked Iron Lung. I think with Iron Lung, the biggest problem with that is, like, the scenes went on too long, and there wasn't, like, it kind of, and you felt like, okay, I'm kind of feeling the runtime. The difference between, and I think this is where good comedy comes in, because he is a sketch filmmaker, and when you are working with sketches, you have to have precise timing for your jokes, and with that comes precise timing for scares and for atmosphere. So I think for Curry Barker it worked. For Markiplier it did not. And again, I love the movie, but it is it's a slow movie. Iron Lung is a very slow movie, and I feel like it could have been tighter edited. Curry understands more so where to, and that's why I feel like a lot of comedy filmmakers and actors and directors can make that jump to horror, because they rely on the similar maybe not the same attributes, but similar attributes. The timing is definitely timing is kind of like like to time for a scare, to like this is where a scare should be, this is where a jump scare should be, this is where the atmosphere should end, this is where a joke should be. That kind of has that same like idea, and I feel like this was just so perfectly edited, and it just like every scene falls perfectly into the next. Every scene is as long as it needs to be, is as short as it needs to be, to end on a jump scare, to have a jump scare in the middle, to have a jump scare at the beginning, and it works effectively. And that is the editing is a big part of what makes this movie work as well as it does. And I feel like Curry editing it was a good factor because he knows what he's
Absolutely.
doing. So that was
Absolutely.
another big thing.
And when you talked about like jokes, like I'm surprised how funny this movie was.
Well, yeah, it's kind of wild how funny a movie can be when it's written by someone who actually understands humor from this particular generation, and not jokes being written by a bunch of 50-year-olds thinking, oh, this is funny because this is what they're saying. No, because I'm in my 20s, you're in your 20s, you're in your 20s. We this is how we talk to like our friends. We just we literally we rag on them, we make fun of them, we curse a lot and everything, but also we're like very vulnerable and talk about real shit when we need when we need to and whatnot. And I think and I like how as little as we got scenes of the four of them hanging out, like you can tell that these are all like great friends and everything. And the comedy in certain areas, like I would say like the funniest and I hate to even say the funniest scene because like I wouldn't really call this funny. It's kind of like more so like accidental, like, dramatic humor. Because like this is such a fucked movie, so to where like when something kind of funny happens, it's like, oh, at least I can laugh at this because like to break the tension because this movie is so fucked. But the guys' night scene, like it was just like, yeah, that's
Yeah, she's reading the fucking poem. But the part that actually made me laugh in the theater was Barry. They're doing the Jenga, and Barry says, "All right, kiss the person to your left." And Sarah's sitting there to cuss at Nikki doing the face I make the.
Or the what I like to call the AVGN face.
Yeah, and then I'm watching it. I'm thinking, oh god, what's gonna happen? She walks behind her. She's still making the face, and she pulls the fucking chair back.
I mean, I thought she was just gonna be like, "Can you get up off the seat or something?" But she like just pulled. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
And then she kisses Bear. Like, looks like I'm to your left.
Nah,
on your left.
Nah, but it really does like. And when it comes another movie, I would say like another movie where this kind of, I wouldn't say this is like a wish movie, but this is like a Netflix movie that kind of remind and I'm making this correlation because of what with Bear and Sarah, like where this movie it has Adam Devine, Alexandra Daddario, and Robbie Amell. It's like basically in that movie, Adam's character is like in love with Alexandra's character, and he has like this do-over machine where he basically can do over is trying to create the perfect like scenario where he ends up with like the girl that he feels is like, oh, the love of his life and everything. And it wasn't until like he realized that his best friend who actually liked him the whole time, like that's like, oh, I've been chasing this person the whole time. Meanwhile, the right person was, right in front of me and everything.
Right in front of me the whole time.
And it's like this. It's a comedy movie, so like obviously, like they're trying to make this spin it. They're making this movie in a way to make Adam's character kind of like relatable, and it makes you want to root for him at the same time. But if this was like, but with this movie, it's like, yeah, dude. Like, I mean, Sarah clearly likes you, or has like he like she likes you and clearly sees you as a close friend, and unfortunately It wasn't until it was too late where we see that like she actually likes him, and then
Yeah. I love how we barely scraped like the great things to talk about this movie. We're almost an hour in.
Yeah.
man.
God, this is it's just so fucking good, guys. It's just like just go see the movie.
But so we do need to play Rob's positives.
Okay.
And I just want to say, Rob, my boy was traumatized by this movie. And all I can say is, what are friends for?
So first off, I'll admit that the acting is fantastic all around. Indy Neverett. By the way, thank you for Devin for helping me pronounce that name. I wanted to make sure I got it right. She does a really great job playing Nikki, and she gives a very creepy performance. Her aneurysm, like it honestly gives off very bad, scary vibes. Michael Johnston, who played Bear, he does really good. Although maybe he could be a little, maybe during the beginning he was maybe a bit wooden a few times, like at the very beginning, but it picked up real quickly. So for him, everyone else, hell, even Curry Barker actually did a cameo as the phone operator, for the One Wish Willow Company. They everyone did a really good job. The cinematography was well done. And I'm going to say this, and the premise is really interesting. I know the one thing that really got for me was just more the thing with horror films nowadays. It's like, even if I can admit that certain ones are well made and things like that, I don't find it to be like super scary or anything like that. Remember, you're talking to someone who hardly ever gets scared at all. Sometimes I'll go to like I'll take people out to like haunted houses to have a good time, but I don't get scared or anything by them. And it's the same for movies. Movies could be well made, but I just won't be super scared by them. So, this movie honestly terrified the fuck out of me. So, and there's actually a specific reason for that, because the parts that scared me the most were the ones that involved Nikki's behavior. And the reason for that is more of a personal reason. It's because I have been in that situation before. I am not going to lie. I've had to deal with there was a girl I dated who was just exactly like how Nikki was. She was super clingy. She was like very smiley, uppity. She did some really fucked up things. Pretty much won't give the Bear some space or anything. I think the scenes that always got to me were two of them. One is like at the one where where Bear was talking to his female friend, and then in private about her concerns, and then she just pops up out of nowhere and kills her and says, "See what you made me do." Honestly, it just reminds me so much of that girl I dated, because the things that I've had to deal with pretty much really scared me. I couldn't be able to talk with her mother in private without her searching over her phone, without the girl searching over her phone. I couldn't be able to. I always kept getting messages with her showing a pregnancy test after we had sex. Her stating like I'm pregnant, even though there was no second line. So but there were just things about it. She would constantly text me every single day, even when I'm at work. And it was just, honestly, I did have to break up with her because I did not want to be in this relationship because I got scared. And the only reason I was, I kept it because our relationship only lasted about a year, and the only reason I think it lasted that long was because I was stupid and I was naive. You know, remember, I was really young. I wasn't thinking straight. Honestly, I was more. It was the only reason I kept around dating her at that time was sex. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was honestly the sex was nice, you know, and that was honestly kind of the only reason. But I didn't. But yeah, it's just. But the point is the fact that a lot of this behavior just reminds me so much of her. So it was honestly just very scary. In fact, I remember when Nikki had killed that friend. I just screamed, "Oh my God!" The other part that really got me was at the boys' night out scene where they were playing that game and Bear had to kiss his female friend next to her. And then Nikki pretty much pulled her aside and standing right next to her waiting for that kiss. And honestly, the reason why that was is because that's exactly what that ex that I dated would have done. You know, just to let you know that honestly, I'm just a heads up right now, just to teach anyone like a lesson. If there's a girl who pretty much is not in the right mindset and keeps hounding you all the time, who's always super clingy, won't give you space to breathe, just know that the sex isn't worth it. Okay, please. Just know the sex is not worth it. But anyway, I'm rambling, so those are pretty much like the main things. Honestly, this was a movie that pretty much did scare the shit out of me. And like I said, I hardly get scared. I don't even remember the last time I was that scared, you know? But I remember being shaken when I left the theater. I was like, holy, I honestly had to step out early. Like the part where where they're in bed together and Nikki, like Bear's about to get up and Nikki just screams at him. Honestly, that was the part I pretty much also had to step out because I was like, I've lived through that, so I've had to deal with that. I'm sorry if this message is going on for too long and I'm rambling, but I mean, it's more of a personal thing. I have to pretty much get off my chest. So, but anyway, those are my positives. Maybe if there's something else, I'll add in a little bit more. Also, just to let you know, I don't have mixed or negatives. Honestly, this movie is fantastic all the way through, and I really can't find anything wrong with it. So, yeah, I'll just go with that.
And he did add this like other quick thing.
One more thing I just want to add about my ex, I forgot to mention when I was doing my positives. I ran into her mother when I was getting at the pharmacy to get some prescription drugs. And she had told me that she was hospitalized, that she was diagnosed with schizophrenia, which explains so much.
Oh my.
Jesus. So
honestly, man, like that really is just like that kind of because like I feel like with I feel like with these movies talking, you know, displaying like, you know, when one partner is like obsessed with the significant other and everything, it's like I mean in the beginning in the movie in the montage, like after you know freaky Nikki says I like you and everything, we see a montage and everything is fine, but it's like obviously you know that's not gonna last, like you know it's gonna something's about to, you know, shit's about to hit the fan. And
there was something I did notice when they're looking at their phone at that like animated picture, there was a caption that said I could wear your skin as a sweater.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, that's usually, you know, in every relationship, every relationship they go through that honeymoon phase. And you know, eventually, you know, some relationships, I mean, most relationships, you know, they do, you know, end up going well, but like, you know, after, you know, but others like the, you know, and we know with Right Dude's case, like, yeah, like it does become borderline, like, you know, obsessive, like codependent, always like, you know, wanting to be around them 24/7, and it just becomes very like suffocating and like
Yep.
hard to like get rid of, like a rash. But and it's like in this case, it's like with in any normal setting, Bear would have immediately been like turned off, but because of the fact that he has wanted this for so long, like for Nikki to be like, interested in him, and he used something to a shortcut basically to get to that point. It's like he doesn't want to let that go, despite all the crazy signs that are pointing in his direction. And I feel I keep seeing that. I keep seeing all over Twitter that in actuality, it's like Bear's the one that's actually obsessed, because if you really think about it, he's kind of the one that's like, I mean, and when it comes to like obsession, it's like, yeah, we see Nikki literally being like obsessed with Bear, but it's like, if you think about it, like it's not really by choice. I mean, the man. Again, the dude literally went out of his way to get a one wish Willow, even if it didn't work. That still is kind of like. But again, though, I guess I can't necessarily.
I mean, to be fair, initially it was supposed to be a gift for Nikki, and then he's like, "Eh, fuck it, I guess I'll use it." So there's that.
Yeah,
I wonder,
exactly.
and one of the scarier parts of the movie, I didn't mention, because I mentioned, like, we mentioned the part where she was watching him sleep. We mentioned the part where I mentioned the part where he leaves from work and she's still in the same spot. The part that almost like made me gag, that actually made me gag in the theater, was when he realized he was eating his dead cat.
Yeah.
Like, that was
disgusting.
Fucked. That was nasty.
Yeah.
No,
And I do think I think the opening with the cat, like getting into the medicine was definitely some good foreshadowing for the ending.
Yeah,
yeah.
what I found interesting was like, why is he keeping fucking old ass medication from like so long ago? But like, I don't know. But I think it still worked. But
and I think that implies that because when we get to the ending, this implies Bear was more than likely suicidal.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, it's like, again, and I hate to, because I hate that I had that assumption about him, considering, from after, the opening scene, like it cuts back to his place and his cat's, dead, and he clearly lives by himself, and we already got a kind of, brief, exposition about his life, meeting Nikki and everything else as well. So it's like it kind of made me feel, have this assumption that, oh, this dude's like a fucking loser, dude. Like obviously we know he's not. I mean, well, sorry, let me rephrase that. The man has friends, so he's not a complete and total loser, but it's like you can clearly tell that like he's like he is the type of person to be like, he just gave off like the nice guy vibe. Like,
yeah, but even then, I don't think like at least at the very beginning, it didn't feel like he was like one of these like soy boy incels. I deserve a woman because I need to have my pickle get tickled kind of thing. Like he didn't give off like that kind of vibe. Like maybe he was like one of those nice guys, but like he did. For me, it was just like he didn't come across as like Jack Quaid from Companion type vibes. Like that's like
I still need to watch that.
Titan or Titan from Megamind.
Yeah, literally, like Titan is like he is like the poster child when it comes to that shit.
Well, it's like when you're voiced by such a dickbag. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But yeah, so he didn't come off it like as obvious. So I think there is that. Like I like how it wasn't like just like, oh, I need a woman because I deserve a woman type shit. Like I like how they didn't do that. Like so in your face about it, even if it was there. I didn't see it personally, but like obviously I'm not gonna ruin your interpretation of the film because I didn't see it that way. If you see it that way, that's fine. But for me, I didn't see it that way, and I like how they didn't do that because it would have been so like eye rolling and been like, all right, okay, yeah. It's just a trope that I'm kind of getting sick of now. It's like we get it, we know fucking fedora hat wearing incel douchebags are assholes. We don't need like a trillion different movies to tell us like, oh yeah, okay, we got it. We know Reddit sucks. We got it. We don't need a million things about it. But even then, but yeah, the Wojak meme. You do that really well, Devin. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's just like
My brother had me do that.
everything is perfect about this movie. No notes.
Yeah, pretty
best
much.
horror movie. Like for me, I would say like because Undertone was another one of my favorites. I think Undertone like scared me personally more. It got under my skin, but the thing about Obsession, it's a better made movie. Like it's more substantial. There's more to it. There's more of a story. There's more character driven plot narrative. There's
It
more.
also
themes,
feels
there's more-
real.
Yeah, it feels real.
It feels real. Like look at what Rob had to go through.
Yeah.
It,
That's
it,
what
it
I'm
really
saying. Like
just
it feels real. It feels real to these guys. So it's like
It's a horror movie we can relate to.
yeah, it really just pisses me off, like honestly, because like again, I kind of can relate. Well, yeah, we all can relate to having that one, girl
Is to be
or even
single.
multiple where you've had a crush on someone and you don't like know how to tell them how you feel because you have all these doubts in your head like, oh, what if she doesn't like me back, or what if she does, what if she does and I just fumble and everything, or oh, there's no way she could ever like love someone like me or like someone like me even though they obviously like you, because like it really does, it really like in a real life like the man literally like the man literally was trying to like find a way to tell her, and he was given the opportunity. It was given right to him. He had the answer to the fucking test and he didn't do anything with it. And that's what makes it so horrible. Honestly, now it really does make it like, again, it's not like he knew that the One Wish Willow thing was gonna happen or anything, but like it really just is like knowing like everything that transpired after the fact. It does suck that like he had the opportunity and he blew it, so he decided to basically take matters into his own hands to kind of ensure that things happen. He cheated the system, and
I think once like Sarah was killed, she blamed him, and then he reads like the acceptance letter, and he has like the fucking like the meltdown in the car. I think that's when he finally realized that he fucked up,
Yeah.
and that he
But it's
should have
like-
done something.
But
But
even then, like
also-
he's still 100. Well, do you want to talk about the ending now or no?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Let's talk about the ending.
Yeah.
So what I think that's most interesting about the ending is like it still paints Bear as the bad guy, which I like.
Well, yeah.
Because it's a follow through. They don't like I don't like how they try to sugarcoat it. I like how they don't try to do something like some redemption, like because the thing is like that's what it's painted as, but at the end of the day, it's not, because it's just an act of self-preservation, which even though it's ironic that he doesn't self-preserve himself, it's still that way. Because here's the thing with how like he realizes this is a fucked up situation, seeing Sarah's fucking dead naked body in the middle of the kitchen,
Oh my god.
and then
yeah,
like Ian
And Nick is dressed like
and then
her.
like I love how another thing I love is like the subversion again. Ryan Johnson, this is how you do it. Subversion of expectations. You think something's gonna happen, then it doesn't. And that was another thing. You think Ian is gonna save the day, like, oh, he's gonna make a wish. I wish for $1 billion. Boom, there goes that.
And then all the
you
money
think
starts
Ian
falling
comes in,
down from
he's
the
gonna save
sky.
the day. Boom, gunshot, immediately goes dead. Gunshot to the fucking head. Boom, Ian's dead. There you go. So then you have all this stuff, and
Take
then
him
you
out of
think,
$1 billion.
oh, it's gonna end this way. It's gonna end this way, and then it just like beyond fucked. Like it's like okay, so you think, oh, it's gonna have like a Romeo and Juliet thing, and then nope.
which is why he
Fucking she
intended.
she comes back to normal in the middle of chaos, crying, and then it fucking ends. Like it's
Like
just
like
this horrible, fucked up tale of like Bear is like, well, I'm dead. I don't need to fucking give a fucking shit. I'm just gonna not deal with this. Oh, but Nikki's gonna be safe. But it's just like, yeah, but you don't think, because again, it's the idea of not having consequences for your actions. He doesn't think about that because it's like, I'm fucking dead, so who gives a fuck? But it's just the consequences of like, yeah, this bitch is gonna fucking go to prison because she's surrounded by fucking at least 66% of the people in that room are dead, and it's her fault, and she did it, and fingerprints all over the place.
I wouldn't even say 66%. It's like none of it was really her. But I get what
Well,
you mean.
like she actively killed Sarah. She actively killed Ian.
I mean, do you think
yes,
the police are going to believe?
Of
Do you
course
think the
not.
police are? Yeah, do you think the police are going to believe? Oh yeah, I did this because of a wish making toy.
Of course not.
And
I
so,
think, and I've been seeing. Wait, no, sorry.
so the original ending was going to be like the Romeo and Juliet style ending, where after Bear dies, Nikki blows her brains out, and they're both dead. But he said he wrote like different endings, but I think Curry said it was his dad that said, "No, just do the ending. Just do the ending where she lives."
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's predictable.
and because it's
honestly
most,
really predictable.
it's the most fucked up ending. It's the
No matter
bleakest
what.
ending.
No matter what, this was not going to have a happy ending. This was going to be an ending where everybody was fucked. And you guys know I have an issue with bleak endings. Like, you guys know how much I can't stand the villain wins thing that a lot of modern horror movies, and specifically movies by Ari Aster or A24 do. Just because it was one point, it was like, oh, this is a unique thing. But after seeing it, them do it over and over again and stuff like Speak No Evil and Smile, after a while, it starts to get predictable and it starts to get annoying. This is an instance where a bleak ending was absolutely deserved, and honestly, it felt earned.
Yeah.
And mind you, like, I didn't want to get spoiled for this movie. I didn't want to watch any spoilers. I didn't want to look up anything else. I wasn't expecting him to actually like try to like go through and try to kill himself. I mean, but then again, like in the opening, it implied he was suicidal. And then Nikki uses the willow on him to love her. So they're both possessed, they're about to embrace, and that's when the fucking pills kick in and then he dies.
Yeah. And honestly, I want to ask you guys this because I think I might be the one that's like on Twitter the most when with Film the Discourse. Do you guys think that, with him coming, deciding to self-delete, I won't say, I'll self-delete himself. Do you guys think that it was he did that out of selflessness or selfishness? Because it's like I feel like I kind of feel like he did it to basically take the easy way out and to not, have to deal with the consequences even after
I think that's why.
everything. Because like even then, because even then, like he was gonna puke. He was gonna force the pills out of his system and everything because he was too even then he was too scared to kill himself. But the one wish will took over, so he didn't have he didn't have a choice after that. But I just feel like in that moment it's like you're leaving, you caused all this damage and you get to be but yet you're the one that's gonna get off scot-free. Meanwhile, Nikki has to basically hold the smoking gun that you fired off. It's just like it kind of. And yeah, it's like hearing her scream, it's just like, dude, like she did nothing. She did nothing wrong. Like she was just this innocent person who got roped into something that she didn't even have a choice to be in. Like she said it herself that she wanted to be a writer. She had all these things she wanted to do in life, and it's now taken away from her because of what Bear did.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this was honest to God. Like this movie just leaves me fucking speechless. Like, there's so much to talk about. Like, there's really like I don't have any issues with it.
Yeah,
So
like honestly, there really isn't any issue. I really can't find anything wrong with the film. Like I would say, like the one thing, because I mean, well, that was before towards the end of the movie. Because throughout the movie, I kept saying, why couldn't like okay, you see that all this is happening, go to the store and get another One Wish Willow. What are you
But-
doing?
but
But then
again,
yeah,
remember he tried.
Am I
he tried to-
okay? Am
Yeah,
I
you're good.
okay? Okay,
you look
because like
you look a
everything,
little fuzzy.
everything kind of stopped. It was loading. I thought I was gonna lose it. It must have been like a blip or something in my internet connection. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, continue.
you look a little fuzzy. But when
Okay.
you bring that up, Jay, like you got to remember, he tried to buy the One Wish Willow. He tried to use it again. It didn't work because he only gets
Yeah.
one wish.
well, yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like before that,
I also loved how that was a good like explanation. Like you again, it's not like it's like oh maybe a novelty toy and like but it just so happens to work. But I like how they do explain that not just because of like oh he can't undo everything himself, but at the same time by doing that it's showcasing specifically to the audience the magical properties of the One Wish Willow, and I really like that as well. And somebody mentioned, I don't know if I think it was somebody, maybe it was no, I think it was a comment I saw that they were like, "Oh, I wish it was explained more because of blah blah," and that's fine if people think that. I like the unknown and the mystery because then I like to fill in the
I do
blanks
too.
myself. It's scarier that way. But somebody mentioned this, and I thought this was an interesting thing. Going back to what I was saying, that the infamous like folklore legend of like the crossroad deal, like you meet the devil at the crossroads, you make a deal, it comes back to haunt you, that kind of thing. Um, that's what again like monkey's paw, that kind of thing, but specifically the devil's deal, because somebody made a point of this, like if it was explained or not explained and fill in the blank, whatever. They're like, I like to believe that Curry Barker, as in the representative for One Wish Willow, was actually the devil, and he was, this was his way of giving out deals to people and like causing mayhem, and these things inevitably go wrong. So I'm like, that's an interesting way to take it. Like whether you agree or disagree, I think that's an interesting way to take it, of like the fact that the representative he's talking to is actually the devil himself, who's doing this to people and like imbuing his power into these little novelty toys.
The real
Yeah,
Nick,
it also-
the real Nick is
it-
here. Do you want to talk to her?
No, yeah, like that is like that was terrible. Like just hearing her
was
like
terrifying.
screaming in agony.
I'm like, yeah,
Like-
that's and that also feeds to the fact, oh, she's in hell, and like it's like maybe a demonic entity that took over her body. So, depending on how you view it.
It's just like it really does like it's like it's like man, like he was clearly shown and told multiple like times that like this is like I mean she is like suffering, and all he is thinking about is oh like what's so
I
bad about
finally
being
have
with
her.
me, like is the love real, like or like does she love me, does she actually love me? And he's like it's like dude like,
Just because you chose this for her doesn't make it less real.
yeah, like, and honestly,
That was such a good
that
line.
just goes to show why in Aladdin, with the genie, he said, he's like, I can't make someone fall in love with you, like that's like one of the rules, like you can't force someone to fall in love with you, because it's like, it's like that is why you can't force someone to love you. You can't make things. Even if it's harmless, it's like, oh, I wish she had feelings for me. I mean, okay, yeah, let's say that did come true. You obviously aren't. It's not like you're saying it. Obviously, in your mind, it's harmless. Like in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I just wish this girl loved me, just loved me. But the way that you're saying it, it's like, okay, you're not having any boundaries, you're not setting any like rules, you're not setting anything. You're just saying something so broad to the point where, okay, you said you want her to love you more than anyone in the world. Okay, well, fine, you get your wish.
Yeah.
And she's going to love you more than anyone in the world. And you are gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Before I get to the verdict, speaking of like One Wish Willow, I got ripped off. I'm gonna call these people right now and make a complaint. Oh yeah, I forgot. I can't make any calls because I don't have a phone bill anymore.
Oh.
John, can you call the hotline and put it on speaker, please? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was blowing my nose. I have
I'm
my
gonna
phone out here, so
I want to give these guys a good piece of my mind.
let's see. Okay, we have the number in right there. Let's go.
These motherfuckers.
Hey, you've reached the One Wish Row hotline.
Hey, asshole.
Unfortunately, we're not liable for any unintended things that might have happened to you or your loved ones. That includes property damages, psychological distress, emotional trauma, extreme personality changes, deeply disturbing displays of love, bodily harm, death, or anything resembling possession and stuff like that. It's all there in the fine print, but maybe you didn't read it. Most people don't. If you need further assistance, well, I hope you can find it because there's not much I can really do. Good luck.
Well then,
Thank you for nothing.
What a ripoff. But anyway, final verdict.
Well, yeah.
Was there something you wanted to say?
Oh, I was saying before. It's just I just find it kind of hilarious how we've talked for extensively about this movie, and it still feels like it still feels like we didn't talk about everything.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing something. I'm probably it's gonna be 3 a.m. I'm gonna jump up in bed oh shit, I forgot to mention that. It's just you know what? It's what I say when every great movie has me in shock. Just go see it for yourself.
Seriously,
Pretty much.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
I mean, seriously, we need and I will say this, I guess final verdict. I guess since we're already doing final, I can give mine. Final verdict. This was a really good movie. As somebody who is living in a town right now where movie theaters are basically going out of business, like the movie theater that I went to, that I've gone to, as a kid, it closed. I feel like it's movies like this. We need movies like this to get people in the theater, because this is something that you need to see for yourself and watch with an audience for the first time and really feel what the audience is feeling. And I am glad that in all the madness of all these stupid studio mandated properties, whether it's sequels or remakes or or just movies that are so desensitizing now, it's nice to see that we have a movie made by a director who is literally he's a YouTuber. He is literally he is just like us. The YouTuber decided to take matters into his own hands to make a film. Is this his first theatrical release? So this is his first theatrical release film, and it's getting a good word of mouth. It's getting all this attention. It's I feel like in this day and age, it really is up to us, this generation, to really show these people that cinema is something worth watching. Because with all these pointless cash grabs, this generation needs to really wake everyone up and show everyone that we can make ideas. This is now, when it comes to obsession, yes, it stems off of the we've seen stuff like this before. Be careful what you wish for, stories, all that, but it does it in its own way to where you don't feel like it's being a copy of something or it's imitating something. It's its own thing. So with that being said, I do think that this movie is worth watching. And if you don't want to go to the theater, fine, watch it on the internet. Still, this movie does deserve attention, because with all the movies that are going to be coming out within the next few months, this definitely needs to be, considered as a movie that possibly gets recognition around award season. But that's all I have to say.
And what's your rating?
I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
And my thoughts overall, I absolutely adored this movie. Right now, this and Project Hail Mary are neck and neck for my favorite movie of the year. Curry Barker is going to be a director is going to be a filmmaker that will have my attention going forward. Whether it's his next movie that just finished filming, Anyone But Ghosts, or when he eventually, I'm dying to see what he does with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He made such a funny, disturbing, terrifying, yet oddly relatable experience. With fantastic acting, fantastic atmosphere, editing, scares, pacing, like everything about this movie is top notch. Believe the fucking hype. This is one of those movies, like the holdovers together, the substance, where I hype the fuck out of it for these guys over and over and over again. I never shut up about it.
Late Night with the
And,
Devil.
Late Night with the Devil. And you know what? I don't fucking regret it because these guys love the movie. So, And I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I already saw it twice. I can't wait. Once this becomes available for physical release, I am absolutely pre-ordering the 4K.
I think it's perfect. It pretty much has no problems for me. Scary but well made, well acted, well directed, well edited. It has like a lot of those like uncomfortable moments that I was talking about. A lot of uncomfortable funny moments kind of reminded me of The Visit a little bit, where it's just like and it's just like the uncomfortable laughing. Like it just I think it did that very well. But the horror of it all, well-made story, interesting themes, and exploration of those ideas done very well. The execution done very well. Maybe there's one or two annoying jump scares, but honestly, not even close to like impeding my score at all, because I'm with these guys. 10 out of 10 for me. Fucking perfect movie. Again, same with me. Project Hail Mary is this and it are like kind of, we'll see how it goes. I think I still like Project Hail Mary a little bit more, but for me, this is definitely my number 2 spot. Undertone is great. Bone Temple, Hokum. Great year for horror, ladies and gents. Great year for horror. Can't wait for Backrooms and Passenger in a couple weeks. So
I just got to say this as a PSA to everybody, anyone who's watching this. If you are someone out there, whether you're a guy, girl, Namekian, honestly, it doesn't even matter who you are. If there is somebody who you have feelings for, it's scary, but you definitely should take the courage to tell that person how you feel. Otherwise, you end up like Bear.
And he's dead. So
and he's dead. Now, granted, do we have a One Wish Willow?
Liked, with a crime scene. So
basically,
oopsies.
Like now, granted, is there a One Wish Willow out there? I hope not. But still, though, basically, moral of the story: don't be like Bear. Telling the person how you feel is scary, but sometimes life is all about risks.
And also, I have Rob's and I have Zach's verdicts and thoughts right here.
Yeah, overall, this movie is just fantastic from beginning to end. This is just a movie that's amazing. I honestly am looking forward to what Curry Barker has next in store. Maybe I might check out Milk and Cereal. Who knows? But I would, if you're really into horror, or if you've been in this kind of relationship, I would say absolutely go see this, because especially if you've been in this this kind of relationship like I have, it will scare the piss out of you. I'm not joking. It really will. So I would absolutely recommend it. Everything is fantastic. The writing, the tone, the pacing, the acting. And honestly, I hope India Nebra, the one that played Nikki, I really hope she gets a lot more work done in the future, because she sounds like to be the new upcoming coming actress in Hollywood. So, but I would absolutely recommend this movie, whether you're a horror fanatic or if you're just, or if you, like I said, if you've been in that situation before. So just be prepared for the nightmares to come. So, and with that, my score is a perfect 10 out of 10. This will definitely make my top 3 best films of 2026. But I'd have to really think about that because I'm still trying to balance between this, Hokum, and Project Hail Mary. So, yeah.
And then we have Zach's thoughts and rating.
Right, so I am like heading right out the door right now to head out of town for something. So I won't be able to separate into expectations and all that. But overall, like my expectations were after hearing all the early reactions with how demented and fucked up this movie was, I had only the highest expectations. Like there were moments during the first half of this year where I found myself getting more excited for this than Scream 7. Like, if you know how big a Scream fan I am, then they are that's really saying something for an original horror idea to get that kind of rise out of me. And after seeing the movie, aside from all the stuff with the dead cat, like, I can get what they're going for, but I don't know, as a cat person, like, yeah, I would have cut that out of the movie personally. But outside of that, I thought the movie was incredible. Indy Navarrete, like, forgive me if I'm butchering that name. Like, she's gonna give me nightmares for a long time at this performance that she gives. Like, as soon as she's under the spell and all that, there is not a single moment where I did not have goosebumps. And the dude who puts the spell on her, Bear, I actually kind of liked how he wasn't like totally likable either. Like he isn't like this perfect, sympathetic kind of protagonist. Like he has, kind of a dark side himself, and I kind of like that as like a little change of pace for main characters for a story like this. And definitely wasn't as gory as I was thinking it would be. Like for some reason, the trailers gave me this vibe that there's gonna be like this ultra bloodbath and all that. With what gore we do get, it is insane. But it's not disappointing or anything. It's just like, wow, there is like for some reason I thought it was gonna be gorier, and the ending was fucked. And whether they follow this up with a sequel or just leave it as it is, which honestly I kind of prefer it being left alone. Like I think it's something about the ending with her being broken out of the spell and all that, and seeing all this bloodshed and all that, and just being left with that. I think it'd be more impactful if we never saw what happened. It's like in a way that you can both kind of piece together what happened after, and at the same time you can't. And that's what I get out of it personally, and I really like that. So yeah, sorry for this being short, but yeah, I thought the movie was incredible, and yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 9 out of 10. The only thing, again, keeping it away from a perfect 10, is just up with the dead cat. Like you could have cut that, but otherwise, probably my favorite horror film of the year.
I mean, the dead cat was important to the plot, but whatever.
I will be honest. When I got home, the first thing I did was pick up Mia and hug her. But yeah, like we were saying over and over, do we recommend Obsession? Watch it.
Watch it. So what's the shall we discuss what our next review will be?
So it's either going to be Michael when you're able to see it.
Oh, I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, like I know it's long overdue. Listen again. I've had to deal with a lot over the last week, and I've been coughing up this freaking stream, so I'm also getting over a cold. Still, I have this lingering cough, but yes, I am seeing Michael finally. It's hopefully, I don't decide to either you're gonna see me happy, go lucky, or you're gonna see me in a ball of rage, which I highly doubt that you're gonna see me in a ball of rage, but
No.
I don't know. But yes, the next review will be Michael. I will be sitting in the director's chair once more.
Hopefully, you'll be wearing one of the Michael Jackson shirts I got you for Christmas.
I think I have my Thriller jacket. That would actually be kind of funny if I busted that out. But
And so yeah, we have Michael and our other one is and the other one is not Mandalorian and Grogu, because fuck Star Wars.
But it's Passenger. Yay.
Passenger.
Another
that'll
horror
be
movie.
That'll be Passenger, and Joey and JS Pokemon. They also love the movie. Acres of Movies also love the movie. And Passenger will be hosted by Zach. We did have a lot of people watch, so thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Support your local theaters by watching good movies. And always remember, don't buy a One Wish Willow. It's a fucking ripoff.
yeah, be careful what you wish for, shit. Once again, we have brought light into the world. You're welcome, America.